What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And we've just had the third fight review, as we all know, and obviously we've got a lot of legends. And I thought someone on Reddit, I don't really know how to use Reddit, so I apologize that I can't give like the user their credit. If it was you, if you end up watching this video, let me know and I'll be able to give you your credit if I do this again. We're going to do this for the male and female, and someone has broken all the weight classes down into literally things like welter, super welter, middle, super middle, things like that for both male and female. So today we're going to be looking at the male weight classes and just kind of, I think this will give you guys a big idea of actually how huge this roster is. So we're going to start obviously today with the male fighters, and then maybe tomorrow or the day after we'll do the female fighters and kind of see how that goes. But before we jump into it and I show you guys, I just want to say I think you will generally be shocked at how many fighters there are in this roster. Obviously at the minute I think we know of 120 or 130, something like that. And apparently there's at least 200, so there's like another 70 or 80 or something stupid that we don't know of. And obviously, you know, throughout the years of boxing, I don't know every single fighter that's here. Obviously, I do know quite a few, but I don't know every single fighter that is here. I won't lie and pretend I do know who they all are. I'm trying to learn them all for the game, so at least when the game comes out, I can know every single fighter on the game. But obviously, with boxing being around for so long, it's actually quite difficult to know every single fighter. But yeah, so I'll minimize myself here, and you can see the image here. You can see heavyweight, cruiser, light heavyweight, super middle, middle, super welter, welter, super lightweight, lightweight, super feather, super bantam, super flyweight, and then minimum. And the only weight that's really lacking, obviously minimum, and then arguably fly with 2 and 3 fighters each, and then super fly, sorry, with only 4 fighters, but there is Andrew Maloney and Charlie Edwards there, so that's pretty good. Now, obviously the flyweight division below, we've got Mark Johnson and Sonny Edwards. So there's always kind of, I would say there's always a big start in each weight class of without fail. Obviously, you know, you got to say, I'd say that's the weight big. That's probably say, I don't know about minimum. I'm not really familiar with them. I assume Rosendo Alvarez is the big one in minimum, and then obviously you got Sonny Edwards and Mark Johnson, current champion and legend, and then you got Charlie Edwards, Andrew Maloney, Juan Francisco Estrada, and then in bantamweight we've got Jason Maloney, and then Nonito Donaire. I would argue he's the bigger name in the bantam out of those 4 down there. And then we've got the super bantam, and this is when the divisions start to get a little bit more filled with like 5+ fighters or 5 then plus fighters each. Obviously super bantam we've got Eric Morales, Hobie Price. Obviously I don't know who Moro Donjan Akmadalov Liv is. I don't know who that is, but I know who Marco Antonio Barrera is. Obviously that's supposed to be the big name for there. And then we've got the featherweight, Chris John, Jordan Gill, Josh Warrington. I'd probably say Josh Warrington and Kevin Kelly and Kid Galahad actually, and Juan Manuel Marquez as well, as actually probably, there's actually quite some big names in there. When you really look at it, you see how many big names there are. And it's good to see these organised as well. I like seeing it organised like this. By the way, on this image, the bold ones are the ones that are active. It says at the top, all weight classes, both active and inactive, are taken from BoxRec. Some fighters may appear in the game in multiple weight divisions, and then it says up the top as well, bold is active, so we can see active fighters. And then in super feather, we've got Sebastian Fundora, and then obviously Billy Dib, Arturo Gatti. I'd probably say Arturo Gatti is the bigger one. Oscar Valdez, though. But I'll say, for me, it would be Arturo Gatti, but you guys have to let me know who would be the big name for you in featherweight. Then we go to lightweight, and then this is where the divisions get filled. I'd probably say the only, I think a lot of them have been chucked into super weight classes, but I'd say the only ones that are really lacking after this is super welter and middle. But obviously we've got lightweight, Anthony Crolla, Diego Corrales, George Cambosos Jr., Hector Camacho Sr., who else we got? Juan Lares, obviously Vasily Lomachenko. Obviously that's the big name. I'd have to say Lomachenko's got to be the big name in lightweight for sure. But I mean, I'm really, and we've got super lightweight, Mickey Ward, obviously, Julio Cesar Chavez. I always get his middle name and last name mixed up. I mean, that's the biggest name for him. Obviously, you got Ricky Hatton there as well. Paragus, is it Paragus? And then Josh Taylor as well. So I mean, huge names there. I'd probably say Hatton and Julio Cesar Chavez are the big names in super lightweight for sure. And then we've got the welter, which is a stacked division just through and through. We've got Amir Khan, Conor Benn, Florian Marku, George Davey, Marcus Maidana, Mark Rose Jr., Michael McKinson, Paul, I can never pronounce his last name, Maljanagi, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Sean Porter, Sugar Ray Leonard, Terence Crawford, and Virgil Ortiz Jr. So I mean, that is a stacked weight class. I could see that, super middle and heavyweight being the 3 most played weight classes. And then we've got the super lightweight, and no one really huge. Sebastian Fundora, Ryan Rhodes. I don't really know many people in that super welterweight division there. Then we go up to middleweight again. We've got Sugar Ray Robinson, of course, Sergio Martinez, Jake LaMotta, Cedric Doumbé, and Anthony Mundine. I mean, Sugar Ray Robinson is, of course, and Jake LaMotta are, of course, going to be the 2 highest rated fighters in that weight class, no doubt. Because I'm pretty sure they are doing the super thing, so this is how it should look when we play. But like it says at the top, you will probably get a lot of fighters that have jumped weight classes. So let's say Canelo was in the game. I could see it being very possible we get him in super welter, middle, super middle, for example. And some of these fighters we will get, like, you know, I would say, we'll jump in a bit later, but like Usyk, for example, between cruiser and heavyweight. Then we've got the super middle, which is another fucking stacked division. Just notable names right off the start. You've got Caleb Plant, Danny Jacobs, David Lemieux, Edgar Berlanga, of course. Gabriel Rosado, who's going to probably have a granite fucking chin. Henry Wharton, Liam Richards, Nigel Benn, of course. Shane Mosley Jr., Vinny Pazaneza. I suck at last names, I really do. Another great division there. I could see that being played quite a bit. I think welterweight would be played arguably more than that one for sure, because welterweight is just stacked with, I mean, huge names and names for people that have only just started getting into boxing, which is what's great about it. We've got names for hardcore fans and names for casual fans and new boxing fans. Then we got up to the heavy guys with light heavyweight. We've got Badu Jack, Dimitri Bivol, who I actually made the video about the other day, saying he's one of the most underrated names. And we've got Hector Camacho Jr., Joe Smith Jr., Lyndon Arthur, of course, Roy Jones Jr., and Sergio Kovalev. I mean, that's a relatively small division, but fucking hell is that shit stacked. That is a stacked division right there. And we've got the cruiser, which is only a bit lacking, kind of with only 6 fighters. Off the top, right off, we obviously Enzo Maccarinelli, Lawrence. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name because I always fuck it up. And then Vidal Riley, for some reason here. I could have sworn he was heavyweight, but I could see him being in both. And obviously Johnny Nelson as well, of course. And then Damian Chambers, Glenn McCory. Another good division, even though there's only limited fighters. Like I said, there is 70 odd, 80 odd, I think, or so the rumour is, more fighters to be announced in the future. And then we go on to heavyweight, which is the biggest, most stacked fucking division in the game, and this is insane. We've got Alexander Povetkin, Badr Hari, Butterbean, David Adelaide, Eddie Hall, Floyd Patterson, Frank Bruno, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, Joe Frazier, Joe Joyce, Joe Lewis, Larry Holmes, Lucas Brown, Michael Hunter, Muhammad Ali, Usyk, Riddick Bowe, Rocky Marciano, Tommy Morrison, Vitaly Klitschko, and Vladimir Klitschko. This will 100% at the moment be the most played division until we get the likes of Billy Joe, Triple G, and Canelo in the super middle and middleweight divisions. I think heavyweight is definitely going to be the go-to. So many fantastic matchups to have in this division. I mean, the game's not even out yet, and this is the roster just for the males. And we're also getting the female one, which I will show you guys in another video. But I thought for organisation, this was just brilliant to be able to look at this and say, wow, fucking good job to this guy that made it. You know, thank you to him. Absolutely insane. I mean, to have a game of boxing that is going to be split into, or so we believe it's going to be split into super, and then, you know, so we're going to have super middle, super welterweight. But if it doesn't, if we look at these, we're going to have obviously heavyweight, cruiser, light heavyweight. That's still going to be a thing. And then if you think about it, if they just do middleweight, welter, lightweight, featherweight, bantamweight, flyweight, and maybe put the minimums in with the flyweights, you've still got a huge stacked middleweight division, a huge stacked welterweight division, an insanely big lightweight division, a big welterweight division, a big bantamweight division, and then at least, you know, you're going to have 7 fighters in the flyweight. If you include the minimal, that's still 9 fighters, which is not really bad. That's more fighters than you've got in the cruiserweight division, and I think that's the same as what you have in the light heavyweight division. It's not really that bad, to be honest. I'm going to see if I can find quickly. Okay, I just wanted to say, if I was able to find it, figure out Reddit. I know Reddit's not difficult, but I just don't use it, so I always get confused. The user is JGSB1919. He posted it 2 days ago. It's the full men's roster bracket so far. And that was obviously after the fight reveal where we got Muhammad Ali and stuff like that. I mean, just looking at it, when you just look at it, you really see how big it is. I mean, I'm probably the most excited at the minute to play in the middleweight division, I'd have to say, and the welterweight division. One fight that I'm really looking forward to using, I have to say, is Conor Benn. Obviously, aside from Terence Crawford and stuff, I'm really looking forward to using Conor Benn, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Edgar Berlanga plays out. Some fighters have just got unique fighting styles, and, you know, as we've seen from Conor Benn, he can knock someone out in the later rounds, but he can also knock tough opponents out in the first round. You know, how are they going to put that in? But we're not going to talk about gameplay and that. But let me know your thoughts on this roster so far for male fighters. Like I said, we will do the female ones as well. I mean, I'm just going to quickly look at it now. We've still got a pretty good. It's not as big, obviously. There's a lot of divisions where there is 1 fighter or there's just 2 fighters, but we'll have to see how they handle that in the future. Maybe they'll have to add some more, but fingers crossed they'll be able to add it all in the future and up it. Obviously, it's harder for some of the you know, some of the heavier women like super middle and stuff like that. I don't, you know, how many fights they can be able to get from that is tough. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what goes about. But thanks always for watching, guys. Obviously, I will do this for the female one just because I like to have a look and like to talk about it. And I know that you guys like to, I suppose, listen. And I really want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think of the roster so far. Let me know if there's any weight class that you think like seriously needs some help, and who would you add to it. You know, don't just give me the whole, you know, middleweight because they need Canelo. Like, I love Canelo, I love Triple G, but right now middleweight is good. Divisions that are lacking are divisions like flyweight, divisions like bantamweight. You know, so let me know, you know, what division you think is lacking, or what you'd like to see get a bit higher, cruiserweight, like heavyweight, things like that. In the comments down below, I'll be sure to reply as often as I can. Yeah, thanks always for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, obviously this is the 9th of May, so who knows what will come out in the future with rosters. And you know, if there's huge updates with roster, I'll try and cover it and keep you guys up to date on this. And you know, well done to this guy, absolutely smashed it with this. This is really, really cool, good to see. And yeah, thanks always for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.